evening, everyone. It is Thursday night. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. If you are new on this platform, we enjoy listening to Dave Ramsey phone calls and pretty much dissecting them with our thoughts and opinions. Some of the calls are new, some of the calls are older, but on this channel, we believe we can learn from every call. If you are a returning guest or visitor, we are so glad to see you again. You know the routine. Kick your feet up, pour your tea, relax. Let's take this all the way down. I am so glad you guys are here with us this Thursday evening. All right, let me shrink this myself down just a little bit more. Okay, people, let's see what we can do here on, what is it today? Thursday, February 8th. Let's hit it.
Bill's in San Antonio. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Hello, Bill.
Hey, Dave. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Man, I'm so excited to talk to you. So I'm 31, been married 2 years. My wife and I have about $45,000 in student loan debt. Right now, that's all we've got.
Now, when they say that's all we got, we hope that's all they truly have, and not, oh, and then we're holding on to, and then there's some other surprise, right? So, married, $45,000 in student loan debt. All right.
Work for my family in agriculture, farming, and ranching, and
he works for his family.
I make about $30,000 a year. My wife makes about $40,000. So
he makes $30,000 a year working for his family in agriculture. His wife makes $40,000. He's working for his family. That is a very low pay. $30,000 a year.
Recently, we've been hammering down on the debt, getting it paid off. We got $25,000 down, got $45,000 to go. This house has come up. It's owned by my parents. They want to sell it to us. We want to buy it. We need it. But we're trying to pay the debt off. So I went to my folks. I asked for a raise. I've been with them 5 years now. Never had a pay raise in that time.
Wait, this guy's working for his family at a meager $30,000 a year and hasn't had a pay raise in 5 years. I'm beginning to see where the title is coming. My parents are taking advantage of me and not paying me my net worth. Not paying me my worth. Not to mention his wife makes a meager $10,000 extra.
And they said, well, why don't you just let us pay off your student loan debt? And I said, man, that's a wonderful gesture, and I appreciate it. But, we've been working really hard to pay this off, and I feel like if I take this money, there's going to be some strings attached. And, of course, that's just based on our relationship, and that's a different conversation.
No, it's not.
Okay, pause. People, the tea is starting to bubble. Okay, we could go in many different directions here. First off, we already know what Dave's going to say when the caller, what's his name, Bill, when Bill says, oh, that's, about borrowing money from his family, not borrowing, but having the family pay off the $45,000 student loan. He goes like, that's another conversation. No, it's not. And Dave is right. And we already know what Dave's going to say, so I'm going to go ahead and say it for him, okay? Mixing family with your money is never, ever a good idea. All right. And that's something that Dave believes in. And actually, I believe in it as well. Any money you give to a family member, you give it to them. And if it's going to be for pay, okay, my opinion, if I'm going to work for a family business, the pay must be kept separate from my personal bills. I don't want my family up in my private bills. All right. If I'm going to work for a family business, it should be treated as if I'm an employee. I mean, you have to have a fine, matter of fact, I won't even say a fine line. I think there needs to be a very hard line. There needs to be a very clear line between you're the employee and you're the employer. Now, I know that Dave's kids all work for him. Okay. Everybody's seen Rachel Cruz on the Ramsey show, but I believe his, I don't know if his other daughter does, but I know he has a son that works for him. Also, I believe all of his children, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but I know from what I've read, at least two, the son and of course Rachel Cruz, she's married, okay? They work for him. But I wouldn't want my employer, that being my parents, if they're the ones that are employing me, I don't want them in my personal business, because it starts to get very, very touchy when it becomes, well, now is this part of my salary? Or are you trying to meddle in my personal finances? And then are you lending me the money, giving me the money? And you can darn well bet there will be strings attached. And here's something else to think about. If the parents, because those are his employers, okay, we just refer to them as his parents, okay, also known as his employers. If his parents are willing to take on the $45,000 student loan, which most of us would go, oh, well, by all means, please pay the $45,000 student loan. That's because the parents have already run the numbers. And guess what? Guess whose favor that is in? By probably the tens of thousands, I'm going to be willing to bet. This guy has labored for this, for his family, for 5 years, and he only makes $30,000. I'm willing to suspect, and again, we're looking at the title, my parents are taking advantage of me, not paying me my worth, okay? They want to pay the $45,000 because I'm willing to bet you it's going to be pennies on the dollar of what they would have to pay him if they actually paid him what he was worth. Now, we don't know exactly what the job is worth, okay? Maybe we'll find out. I hope we do, because we need to have something to compare and contrast the numbers with. But to me, it's kind of like, you know, there's something about when someone says, hey, I'll be happy to pay your $45,000 bill, where most of us would go, yeah, great, wonderful. I have to go, why is a $45,000 bill so insignificant that you can afford to pay it? What am I losing as a result of you paying that $45,000? And it's more than just losing the future income that I could make that would be well beyond the $45,000. It's also, what am I going to lose in my privacy? Okay. What am I going to lose in, you know, you're up in my business now. You know how long I've had the student loans, you know, what my payment plan's been like. You're basically now fully up in my business. So I'm not just going to lose the money that I could earn. You know, if you actually gave me a raise, or should I say, if he worked for somebody else, if he truly is being underpaid, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he is, because it seems absurd that somebody would work for family business for 5 years and only be at $30,000 and never get a raise. So a lot to chew on there, okay?
Oh, it's the same one.
It's the exact same one, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Where there are no strings, yes, you take the gift. Where there are strings, then we have to discuss the strings.
How old are you, man?
31.
31.
Married 2 years.
How do they justify? I'm not going to put it on them. I'll put it on you. You're 31 years old, making $30,000 a year. What are you doing?
I work for the family business.
No, we understand that.
I know that.
Not what do you do physically? Why are you taking this?
Why are you doing this? You work too hard. You're too smart. Your work ethic is too strong.
Making 2 or 3 times that.
Or 4.
Yes, I should. I also have a business degree from Ole Miss.
What?
So the reason why I do what I do is because I love it. I'm not working for my parents because I've got no other way. We raise cattle. We raise sheep. This is my passion. I love it.
You see, and we have to be careful. We can love something, but man, if you're not careful, the people around you know you love it, and they take advantage of it. As much as I love being a teacher, and being a teacher is actually my dream job, okay? Being a teacher is my dream job, 3rd generation, okay? But I'll be totally honest. If there were no financial perks in any way, shape, or form to the job, and we already know teachers are underpaid as it is, but they do have pension plans, and, you know, we do get medical, sick, yada, yada. Although sometimes the medical leaves something to be desired, but I think that does for most people. But be that the case, you know, there are perks to being teachers. But the long-term perk that I look for is, okay, you know, what financial benefit is there? Because that's just the bottom line. If there were none, and it's just, oh, I just love the job, but it's going to pay me, you know, $25,000, $30,000 a year, and I'm not going to get anywhere, I couldn't afford to be a teacher. Sometimes we have to be careful that our passion doesn't turn into our worst nightmare financially, where we can't ever get ahead. I mean, you might enjoy playing guitar, you know, for the crowd at Starbucks as they leave chump change inside the jar. And that may be your dream gig, but can you afford to live that?
of my job, and I hope to someday have my own place, and this, to me, is the best way to get there. My own place to run my own business is what I mean.
How is $30,000 a year getting you there?
I was thinking the same thing. That's not, you're not going to get that. Remember, this is about a year ago. So even then, housing land price is high.
Well, it's slow.
I would think on $30,000 a year, it's going to be next to impossible.
It's not.
It's not, man.
So, what do they make?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
You have a business degree.
Right
Yes,
now,
you do.
There's no way you can say that your parents are taking advantage of you if you have no idea as to what they make, what the value of the business is worth. That's impossible. And Dave's right. You have a business degree.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I would say over $1 million a year.
Damn. Wow. And they're paying you some chump change. I mean, for $30,000 a year, dang. I'd expect the guy doing the pooping scooping, doing the pooper scooper. Your job is to keep the manure up off the grass or whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about farming, but man, that's what I would expect the pooper scooper to make without the degree.
So I'm going to say this, and it's not going to be pretty, but I'm getting frustrated. Your parents are taking advantage of you.
This is strange.
It's not cool. It's disrespectful.
Yeah, y'all sound like my wife.
And once again, as I've said, how much of our financial situation is caused by us? He's allowing them to take advantage of him. See, once you have the information, you're aware of it, he could no longer say that they're taking advantage of him unless he chooses to stay and keep working for them. And if he chooses to stay and keep working for them at that pay rate, he can no longer say they're taking advantage of him. Once you're aware of something, no one's taking advantage of you at that point. You're choosing to remain. That's not just in business. It's in personal. It's in everything. Once you're aware and you choose to remain, it's not anyone taking advantage of you. You're there by choice. And, it's interesting because at least the older I get, when you're young, you exert a lot of energy trying to tell your friends that, look, you're being taken advantage of. When you get older, you get tired of telling somebody over and over and over again, you're being taken advantage of. At some point, you just accept, well, I guess they don't mind it.
It's disrespectful. And what's happening is it's pitting a relationship. If they can just cut you a $45,000 check to wipe it's a power play, man.
Yeah, and again, like I said, it tells you how much money they're making. When $45,000 is like a drop in the bucket, hey, we'll just pay off your $45,000 student loan because they're banking it. And they want to keep you at the cheap pay. It is cheaper for them to pay off your student loan at $45K than it is to actually give you a pay raise that would bring you up to your worth. I would like to know really specifically what he does and what is the running or going market value of what he does. I mean, I don't have a business degree, and even I know, 101.
That's a move.
Yeah.
And you smelled the move.
Or at least you smelled the manure.
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm from Texas. I get wanting to have a ranch and run the cattle. Those are some of my closest friends in the world. But you can't do that at $30,000. You're never going to earn the money to buy your own ranch.
You can't even afford a cow at $30,000.
Or you're playing a 30-year long game with a couple of power brokers that they may give you their ranch someday. It's not worth it, man.
Wait, okay. Bear with me here. We're going to look up how much a cow costs, okay? You guys know this, okay? Hold on. I got to look this up. How much does a cow cost? Okay, I'm going to move myself out of the picture. How much, let's see. How much does a heifer cost? Look at that. I don't even know how to spell heifer. I thought it was Heffer. Look, I don't claim to know everything, okay? How much is a full-grown cow worth? Let's see. How much is a full-grown cow worth? I can spell that. Okay, the purpose of a cow can be divided. Well, we don't care about the purpose of a cow. Let's see here. Beef cows cost between $25,000 to $3,000 each. What's the difference between a heifer and a cow? Well, now you know that leads me to my next. Geez, what's the difference? I thought a heifer was a cow. Well, hold on. Difference between a heifer. Now that I know it's Heifer and a cow. Let's see here. Before a cow becomes a cow, they're actually called heifers. I am learning at 56 more about cows than I ever knew. Heifers are female cattle have yet to give birth. A heifer is a female cow. Before a cow becomes a cow, they're actually called heifers. Well, what do they call male cows then? Heifers have teats. Well, cows have udders. Okay, well, I've learned more about cows than I've ever wanted to know. I can tell you, he ain't going to be able to afford all this. There's no way. And we won't even get into the bulls. Okay, so I'm going to stand by my earlier statement that he can't afford a cow because he would need a whole bunch of them, and he can't afford that. All right, let's go back to the original video here. Hold on here just a second. All right, now we've clicked through all my emails. Okay, yeah, he can't afford it. $30,000 after taxes. He might be able to afford a cow.
It's not worth it. Go get a job at McDonald's and make 30 grand. At least you can deliver pizzas at night and make another 15 on top.
Oh my God, think about that. The guy delivering pizzas makes more than this guy working for his family.
You're killing yourself for 30,000 bucks.
Well, you're doing your day-to-day work. You enjoy doing the day-to-day work. It's
yes, sir.
But I honestly believe you could manage a ranch for somebody,
and make he could manage a ranch for somebody and make way more. I don't even know anything about ranching, okay? But it just 30,000 seems like a ridiculously low wage for such an incredibly, what I would imagine, a manual labor job.
With your business degree and with your knowledge of the actual events that have to occur on the ranch to win. I mean, you know how to handle the cattle. You know how to purchase the cattle, sell the cattle, deal with the issue. You know how to do that. So you could work for someone else as a manager and make $100 grand a year, couldn't you?
Maybe not 100, but I think I could double my income. But
then do it. Let your family find their own employee.
I'd have to move somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you would. So my
Right, you'd have to move away from the people that you say are taking advantage of you to put yourself into a better spot. If he chose to stay and keep working for his family at $30,000 a year, they're no longer taking advantage of him without his permission. He's giving them permission to do it.
point is, if your parents hired someone to do what you're doing, they would have to pay them more than they pay you.
Oh, heck yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's where I say you're getting taken advantage of.
So the rule in business, the rule in family business is this. My kids work for me.
See?
Okay. Is they get paid what other people doing the job that they are doing get paid. Not more because they're family, and not less because they're family. And so Rachel Cruz is a Ramsey personality, and Rachel gets paid the same percentages on a book royalty that Dr. John Deloney gets paid as a Ramsey personality. Now, she might sell more books or less books, and so she might make more or less than he makes, but not percentage. She's on the exact same comp schedule as Ken Coleman, as George Camel, as Dr. John Deloney.
And that's fair. It's keeping that very clear line between business and family. I look at it as kind of being friends with your supervisors or whatnot at work, okay? One of my really best friends is also one of my leads at work, okay? You know, I've gone to her place, kicked back on the couch, watched TV. We are dear friends, and I assume we will have a friendship for a very long time that will extend well past either one of our careers. But when we're at work, it's business. She needs something done, I make sure it's done. It's keeping the line very, very clear. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it has to be handled with respect from both sides. And what I see here is the parents are clearly not respecting it. I hope he didn't stay to work for his parents. Just because someone is a blood relative doesn't mean you owe them, your potential future, because they're wanting to basically destroy it. $30,000 a year, that's god awful. For working for a family that he says is making around $1 million a year.
And so that's Rachel. And so Rachel's not being mistreated by me, working here, making less because she's family. And she's also not getting paid more because she's here working as family. And she does stand to inherit this place. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So she doesn't have to accept $30,000 a year. Instead, she makes what what these other guys make doing this thing here that we're doing. So, and the same is true of my son Daniel, who's one of our senior vice presidents and runs Entree Leadership. Okay. And what does he make? The same thing as the other senior vice presidents that are running business units, as a percentage of their revenues is how they all get paid. And so you should be paid what someone else that didn't belong to your family would be paid, but not necessarily more. And so, no, I do not want the $45,000. And yes, I have to rethink whether I can stay here at all.
And these type of parents, anyways, you wouldn't want them up in your personal business. These, if parents were going to get into your personal business, don't pick the parents that are going to take advantage of you.
Right. Well, that's pretty much what I was thinking, Dave. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but and here's the thing: if mom and dad were making no profit, and you were joining in on the family business, trying to get the thing turned around and putting your shoulder to the wheel,
totally different situation. Then everybody's helping, everybody's willing to take a pay cut.
Totally different.
That's a different game. But they're probably making $1 million a year.
Well, I mean, I know what they make because I know what their livestock is worth.
Hello. And
I know what a heifer and a cow is now at 56 years old.
So, and you're not coming in here and asking for more than market rate, but I'm no longer willing to accept less than market rate.
Bottom line is he needs to decide if he's going to stay and be used and abused or if he leaves. I hope he left.
And if the promise of this inheritance is not enough to keep me.
Absolutely not.
Because it's a bad arrangement in the short term.
And these would be the type of parents to try to, in my opinion, these would be the type of parents who would actually try to spend all the money, drain down the business, and leave you scraps.
And that arrangement comes with strings.
Yeah.
Of all kinds.
Yeah, and that's so it probably would be good for your mom and dad's relationship with you, good for your relationship with you, good for your wife's relationship for you to work on another ranch for a while. Yeah. You don't have to cut strings. You don't have to burn bridge. You have to cut strings, but you don't have to burn bridges. Yeah. And just get your marketplace savvy established, your value in the marketplace established, and then we can discuss maybe in 2 or 3 years how to come back and under what circumstances you can come back.
All right, I'm going to end this part here, but I am going to, before I leave, I'm going to tell you really briefly whoops, hold on. I'm going to tell you really briefly an experience I had working for a family business and why I personally will never do it again. Okay. When I was in my, talk about, family screwing family over. Okay. And this caller is a prime example why I chose never, ever, ever, after an experience I had. It was in my early 20s. I was about maybe 25, I don't know, maybe 25, 26, right around there. Maybe a little bit younger. I was young because I was only like a couple years out of college. And basically I'd gone to go work for a family awning business in Eugene because that's where I lived. Now you're talking this like 30 years ago. So I don't even know if the business is around anymore. I kind of hope they're not because they sucked. But basically it was my very first time ever stepping into a family business. I had never worked for a small family business. I'm talking it's just like the Ramsey situation. Okay, father's president, mother, I don't know what she did. She drove around in a nice car, I think, and spent money. I have no idea what she did. But the children worked for this family awning company business. And honestly, I don't even remember the name of the company. Like I said, it's been 30 years. But it's just exactly like the Dave Ramsey setup. So I go work for this awning company business. And what they were is they designed awnings. Okay. They didn't actually make the physical awnings. Okay. They took that and they sent that out, to a shop, but they designed it. Okay. Now you got to imagine here. Okay. Little quiet me. Cause I'm, a woman, a few words. Ha ha. Okay. Here I am in my early 20s, probably about 24 or so. All right. It's before I moved to Salem. So I couldn't have been that old. And, excuse me. And this company was very quiet. Everybody worked dutifully. Okay. I was so freaking bored out of my mind working for this company. I was not used to being around designers, and designers apparently like a very quiet room. Okay, they like to sit there, sit on their stool with their easel tilted, and they, draw, measure, and all of that stuff, and they use their colored pencils. I mean, you could have heard a pin drop in this company. It was so quiet. And that wasn't even the problem, okay? Because, I would take a lot of bathroom breaks, and I would go sit in the ladies, on the ladies' toilet, just put the seat down and sit on the toilet, because I was so bored out of my mind. I was like I wasn't a receptionist or a secretary, because, they had someone to do that. But basically, I assisted the designers with very, very entry-level accounting stuff. Like, okay, here's how much, we need to bill a company because we worked so many hours. I mean, just very entry level, because I was no accountant. All right. So I worked for this company. And if I got a little too chatty, I kid you not, it would be like this. Carrie, we need you to be quiet, please. Everybody's working. I'd be like, oh, yes, quiet, quiet, quiet. Can you see me in that environment? Can you see me in that environment? Okay. So when I would get bored, literally, okay, I would time, okay, if I spend, I kid you not, this is how you know you really don't like a job. If I spend 5 minutes in the bathroom, and I can do that once an hour, okay, maybe an hour and a half, and people don't question it. And there's an 8-hour day. I can spend about 40 minutes in the bathroom plus another 30 minutes for lunch. Okay, I'm not kidding. I used to plot and plan how to get the hell away from my desk. I hated this company so much. But it wasn't the silent environment that bothered me as much as the family dynamics of how this company ran. Now, you're talking, this was, 30 years ago, easily $1 million company. So easily a few million now, okay? When I tell you there was infighting between, it's exactly like the Ramsey setup. Okay. Dad at the helm. Okay. Mom's pretty much invisible. Mom didn't really do much. Okay. She might have done some paperwork in the background, but she wasn't really a part of the structure, but the two kids were, and they were brother, sister. They were probably, I would put them in their early 30s because they were a little bit older than I was. If you want to talk about fighting, and of course there was a GM, a general manager, he was a hired person. If you want to talk about fighting, bickering, backstabbing, things that I didn't even know people did to each other and done in front of employees, fight, bicker, bicker. The father, the daughter, the son, these three had tempers that flared so badly at one another that literally, now I will give them some credit. Other than the poor general manager who seemed to get beat up every day. Okay. And I'm not literally, but damn near. Okay. The designers, everybody just stayed clear of them. I mean, absolutely stayed clear. Part of it was just to, self-preservation, making sure that, you did not get in the line of fire. All right. And you're talking, these were professional designers. Okay. They weren't 23, 24 like I was, just kind of bopping around and, feeling my, first steps into the working world. These were highly paid, okay, well-trained designers. They designed big awnings that you see around companies and stuff. And these awnings were in the tens of thousands of dollars per square feet. Yes, per square feet. If people knew how much awnings cost, I was like, you have got to be kidding. I didn't know an awning could cost that much, all right? So in the tens of thousands of dollars for these projects, right? Well, this family just fought bickered. It got so bad that I remember one time I thought the father was going to just blow up completely at the CEO. It was that bad. Okay, not the CEO, but the GM, the general manager. And the general manager always looked like a whipped puppy. Always. And I'm like, damn, you're supposed to be right underneath the power of the husband who's the owner. But he would beat up his general manager all the time. Not literally, but just, the way he talked to him, it's so demeaning, and yelled at him, and there would be screaming behind doors, and the front door would be slamming. I told myself, after I stayed there for about 6 months, I spent most of it in the bathroom, I'm sure, okay, sitting on the toilet. And this was before the day of cell phones. You know damn well I was just sitting there on the pot staring at the wall, okay? There was no cell phone to go clicking through or anything else, okay? But it's like, I told myself, is this what working for a family business is like? Is it all this backstabbing and screaming and yelling? And I kid you not, that was the one and only experience I've ever had working for a family business. And after I had been there for about 6 months, I told myself, there is no way in God's green earth I will ever work for a family business again. And I never have. I enjoy watching the Ramsey show, but I probably enjoy watching it because I'm not actually there in the midst of it. There's just something about, it's not that family businesses can't be successful, but everybody in that family chain has to respect each other's position, and they have to be willing to accept their position. This means they have to accept their rank, okay, and possibly know that because it's a family business, there is no higher rank, at least not for a very long time. All right. So I don't know. I just, after that experience, I told myself I would never work for a family business, and I left, and I've never returned to working for one, and I will not work for a family business. Unfortunately, that one experience was so bad. It jaded me so horribly, and it did. I would darn near say it was almost traumatizing, because maybe I was young, naive, and I did not have enough experience in the work world to know just how nasty it could get. So even though I knew that, general employer, employees, whatnot, the relationship can have some tension, but you're not related to each other. And when I worked for that awning company, that was the first time I realized that people who are related to each other could screw each other over. Just horribly. And I never did it again. So if this guy chose to stay, sometimes I wish Ramsey would do follow-ups to these. I think it'd be so neat. Trust me, if I ever do a reaction and I find out that there's a follow-up, trust me, I will let you know that there's a follow-up. But anyways, that was just my thoughts on that. I personally will never work for a family business again. And as much, as popular as, the Ramsey show is, I'm sure if you talk to people, somebody's going to go, oh my gosh, just absolutely horrible. Okay. So anyways, folks, I'm going to call it a night. It's about 9:30. We're actually past what we're supposed to be normally, but it is going to be Friday tomorrow. So I wanted to go ahead and get an upload for you. I am so glad you joined me. I do hope you will consider subscribing. And are we ready for our closing sign off? All right, let's go ahead and do it. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll consider subscribing. And don't forget, if you are watching this when you are at work on Friday, I hope you have a terrific Friday. If you happen to be listening or watching this while you are exercising, don't forget to check that heart rate. And if you happen to be listening or watching this while you are having your tea with your toast, don't forget, save me a slice. I hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Bye.